I'm trying to describe an objective reality, and you guys are describing an anecdotal reality. That's the only difference.
No,
no,
the statement
I'm
that you
not.
made, the only thing that I'm touching upon, I don't know if it's exactly what she's trying to say. The only thing I'm trying to say is that the men on social media and in the red meat, whatever.
Inside.
In the red meat space,
Okay.
yes.
All of that, they keep saying women don't care about our feelings, and they keep repeating that narrative. And that's not the case. Men, majority of the time, do not care about a woman's feelings. They do not take it into consideration
They get
enough
annoyed.
to huh?
I feel like a lot of men get annoyed.
Yeah, they don't care enough. And if they do pretend to be caring of her feelings in the moment, it's only because they want sex or something out of her. Men don't predominantly care about how women feel about things.
Okay.
And what you're saying is that women
we
don't
go.
care about men.
Go ahead,
All right,
Rolo.
here we go. Let me cook here. Okay. It's not that they don't care about your feelings. It's that they
have too many.
No, well, that's okay. Thank you for making my point.
That is
because
I know. I knew that's where he's going.
Because it's not about the nail. Okay.
What now?
Okay.
No.
It's not about the nail.
What
Now
now?
here's a point. So there's I would dig it up, but we'll probably get a copyright strike for it. There's a video. It's a skit. It's a comical skit. It's a man and a woman sitting on a couch together, and the woman is talking, and you don't see it right away, but because of the way that the camera's angled. But you see this woman, and she's talking about this horrible pain that she has in her head, and she's talking about. She's like, I don't know. I can't get any sleep. I just this horrible pain in my head, and the guy's looking at her, and it finally pans over to her, and she's got this nail, like a big old construction nail, stuck in her head. And so the first thing the guy says, well, we could probably fix that if we just pull the nail out of your head. And the first thing she does is scream at the top of her lungs, it's not about the nail. And so what she does then is go back into saying, oh, but I have this horrible headache. I get these migraines, yada, yada. And the guy's like, okay, and he's trying to listen and trying to be, attentive and listen to the problems and do the therapy and do the work and be emotional and listen to what she has to say and listen to those problems. The problem is that when that guy converses with that woman, he's trying to solve her problems. Pull the nail out of the head. If we pull the nail out of the head, then you're fine. You won't have the pain anymore, right? But the problem is that women would rather vent and talk about the nail in their head instead of actually solving the fucking problem. Because once you solve the problem, there's nothing left to talk about anymore. There's no more venting. There's no more emotional stuff. There's no more conversation. There's no more, he's a bad listener or he's a good listener, because the problem has been taken and solved and everything, because men are innate, deductive problem solvers. And when they're having a conversation when we're talking together, and we do this all the time, you guys just said this, you guys talk about your stats and your information, your data and your statistics and da-da-da-da-da. That's because when men talk with men, we prioritize information because we're trying to figure out how can we solve a problem? How can we be better? How can we be bigger? How can we meet our burden of performance? And here's some information exchange. When women talk to other women, you guys are frustrated with men because we don't listen, or they don't have this connection, this emotional connection with them, and they need to go to therapy to learn to be more emotional. The problem is once they do that, you've just turned that guy into your girlfriend, and so now you're having that conversation.
That's one extreme
And
to
so-
another.
No, it's not one
Isn't
extreme to another.
venting
because
just part
men
of the
and women-
process for
girls.
some people in
But
order
it's-
to be able to?
Men and
Like,
women do
I
not
can't be my
communicate the same
Okay, so if
way.
you
Right,
know
but
that the
I
woman
wasn't
is keeping the
affected.
nail, if you know that the woman is keeping the nail in her head because she's using it as her tool to communicate and talk to and have something to say to her husband, then what does that say about the fact that the man knows that about her? He knows she doesn't want her problem solved. She wants to vent. She wants to talk. So know what? Let's solve this particular problem. But you, as a man, as a husband, as a boyfriend, or whatever, be consistent in your opening communication with her.
Sometimes you just need someone to listen. You don't
bring
need the problem
intimacy
solved.
and bring up conversation and
So
bonding with the woman, so she doesn't
leave
have
the
to use
nail
that.
in the head. Is that what you're saying?
But
No. What did you hear? What I just said to you?
I feel like
you can
that
take the nail.
situation is
The nail wouldn't exist, Rollo. The nail wouldn't exist. The nail would not exist. If the woman was looking for problem solving only from you, she would go to you and you would take it out. But if she's not looking for the problem to be solved and she's looking to vent, what she's saying to you is that she needs more intimate conversation and stuff from you in a bonding way. So now, if as a husband or man, you were consistent with her, like, hey, babe, how are you feeling lately? What's going on with you? Or you talked about other things and it didn't take her having a nail in her forehead to get conversation out of you,
to beg you
then
for it.
you wouldn't have women that feel like they have to use the nail for a way to talk
But
to
see,
you.
the nail is just a metaphor in
I
this
get it.
case, okay?
But if you
the
eliminate
nail
that-
in this case is let's have something
But
to
that's-
talk about
that's
in
what I
the
just said,
first
though.
place.
But
though.
That's what I'm saying. If
So-
the man was consistent with communicating and bonding and initiating intimacy outside of sex
But
with
you,
the woman,
you do
she wouldn't
understand.
have to use
You
the nail.
do understand, though, that when guys are communicating with women and they're speaking male language versus female, like they're talking in terms of context, information, data, problem solving, as opposed to here's how I feel. Women enjoy the act of communicating as it is together. It doesn't for guys who want to solve a problem, who want to be more deductive. That's
problem.
why there is that's why there's a disconnect between men. That's why we talk past each other all the time. So you're saying, well, men need to come over to my way of thinking, and they need to be better communicators. You just
No,
said
no,
they
that's
need
not
to
at
be
all what I
better.
just said.
They need to be more
Not remotely
emotional. They need to be.
No.
They need to be more
No,
better listeners.
nope, that's not what you got. 3 women telling you that's not what I said.
Well, what the fuck are you saying? See,
They don't listen.
I'm trying to pull the nail out of both of your fucking heads right now. That's why.
Let me have 2 minutes of speaking without anybody else chiming in, okay?
That's not possible.
There is
It's not.
there is a difference. A woman in this context, she's using the nail and she's leaving it in her head because she is desperate for connection with her spouse. She's looking for a way to talk to him and initiate intimacy outside of sex. She wouldn't have to have the nail in her forehead and use that as a way to talk to him all the time if he, on his end, initiated more intimacy outside of sex.
You're
if
reading a lot into this.
Oh no.
Okay,
she's
what
not.
about this?
This is the problem.
I do
She's
understand.
using this basically
when
as a
a
manipulative
woman
tactic.
gets unattractive in a marriage, guys will usually be like, my fucking, I don't know what they would say, but they would be like, she got fat, I don't know what to do.
gonna stop
But
sleeping with her.
without seeing that maybe she was taking on a lot more of the relationship issues, causing her to not care about what she looks like. That's more of a realistic scenario.
Yeah, he's trying to make this like metaphor, like a Sesame Street metaphor, and you guys have gone into like this. I'm not saying what your metaphors are incorrect. It's just
I just gave
you'd be like a level of
specific
complexity
example.
that really wasn't part of the conversation. But I understand what you're saying.
No, it's directly correlated. The nail is in her head and she's keeping it in
Yeah,
her
so
head.
in this metaphor, the nail is not in her head because of anything he did, and she's not
No.
using the nail to communicate with her husband. She has a problem that needs to get solved, and she's doing anything and everything she can except solving the problem. That's the
The
point.
guys